verify my success at having been able to sort out the clutch hydraulics problem. I'm now going to tackle the wheel bearings, and I've watched William Murfitt's video twice about how to do this and taken copious notes. So again, thank you to William for that really detailed video that he has put on. And the other person I'd like to thank is Cole at Classic Mini DIY for his little video about jacking points, because this is the first time I'll have jacked up my Mini, and that was really, really useful. I'm not going to be doing how-to videos because, you know, I'm learning myself. I'm not convinced I've got all the tools I need. I'm going to find out. I'm not quite sure whether the sockets and things that I've got are what I need. And I don't have a torque wrench yet, so I know that if I get it all apart, I won't be able to put it back together fully yet. Well, unfortunately, again, I failed at the first hurdle. My little trolley jack wasn't able to lift the car high enough to get the axle stand under where I needed to put it. So, some good news. As you can probably see here, some progress has been made. After I went and whinged to my partner about how I couldn't get the car jacked up high enough to get the axle stands under, he reminded me of something that my dad had said, which was about using wood to get it higher. So he suggested using 2 jacks. So I went and got another jack out of one of the other car, and managed to get it in here where the jack stand is, which is on the rear of the subframe, and got it up higher. And then I was able to take the other jack out, put the wood on it that you can see there, jack it up back up again higher, and then I was able to take the other jack out from here and put the axle stand in, and then lower it back onto this axle stand, which is what it's now resting on. This jack is just kind of holding it at the minute as a bit of extra security, I suppose. And as you can see, I managed to get the wheel off. So again, these are small things for somebody who knows what they're doing, but it's massive for me when you've never done anything like this before. So the next challenge then is to get this central nut off and loosen these bolts here. And up here, which you can't really see anyway. Yeah, so just following the steps in the video that I watched, and take it bolt by bolt and just see how it goes. But I'm really happy that I've at least managed to get this far. So this is great. I'm really making progress with this job. I've got all the nuts off that need to come off. Just need now to get the ball joints separated out. So I've got this tool, not even out of the packet yet, to try. So I've watched a few YouTube videos to work out how to use the thing. So let's see, we'll see if that works. Well, success, look at that. The swivel hub is out. And this little tool worked really well. It calls itself a cup style ball joint separator, and it worked for the tie rod end and it worked for the ball joints, so that was good. And look at this. Now that's all the dismantling that needs to happen. There's a few issues that I think there are with this swivel hub that I'm going to take it to my mechanic. You can see there is the little grease nipple on this side, but it's missing here, so that's obviously an issue. Also the ball joints themselves, one of them, this one is really stiff, you can hardly move it. Oh well, it moves a bit back and forward, yeah, it's just quite stiff. Moves quite like joltily. This one is more like a gear stick on a PlayStation or something. Moves around very easily, so I'm not sure what, obviously there are differences, something's wrong with one of them. I'm not sure which way it's supposed to be, whether they're supposed to be very fluid or they're not. So I just have to now work out whether I can reuse this hub, whether we can get the grease nipple bit sorted out, and then I have to get the old bearings out. So he looked at them, thought they were okay. Good news, didn't think that they needed to be replaced or anything. And the grease nipple that had broken off, he was able to get it drilled out and put in a new one. So there we go, we've got grease nipples now on both sides. So I can get on now with the job of trying to get the old wheel bearings out, and that's what I'm going to do now. Woohoo! Success! I got them all out, all the wheel bearings. It took a hell of a lot of battering. It took a hell of a lot of effort with a hammer and chisel, especially the what would have been the inner one. But yeah, they're out. This is one of the wee bushes that comes off the top of the ball joint, and when I cleaned it all up, I could see that there's a split in it, and one around the other side here too, which goes right through to the inside. So I'll have to replace those. I've cleaned the swivel head all up, and I could put the new bearings in, but I think I'd rather wait until I'm ready to put it back onto the car. So I'll wait until I get the wee bushes, that way there's no dust and stuff getting into the bearings as they sit in there. Doesn't seem like a good idea to try to do it and then maybe another week before the hub is going back on. I thought that at the very least, while the swivel hub was off, I could tidy up the heat shield a bit, so I've just been putting a coat of the Hammerite direct to rust stuff on there. I decided in the end not to paint the swivel hub itself. Not sure if that's the right idea or not. So by some miracle I managed to get the bearings back into the hub. Of course the moment of truth will be when I try to drive with it. Well, then I'll find out if I did it right. But I realised that I don't actually know how to work this grease gun. So I'm just going to go and look at a few YouTube videos. The beginner fun, huh? Oh, I'm just feeling really disappointed. I've waited several days, well nearly a week, to get the bushes to put on the swivel hub to put back in the car. And just a stupid thing like trying to grease the ball joint now that I put the bushes back, the new wee dust covers rather, back on. And the friggin' stupid grease gun has snapped off the grease nipple. It just wouldn't release the grease nipple. So now it seems like it's going to have to go back to the mechanic yet again. Today's Monday, the car was booked in on Wednesday to get the rear radius arm fixed or replaced, and now that's not really going to happen. It's going to take time to leave this off, get it drilled. And I just don't know why this happened really. I don't know whether the grease gun just has the wrong size of attachment or what. It took quite a bit of pushing to get it on in the first place, to get the grease to go through, and now it's obviously just stuck in there. So God, it really is just one thing after another with this. Like a simple job with like replacing the wheel bearings, it's just gone on and on and on. Well, I'm at a bit of a loss now. I got most of the other nuts back on after replacing the one that was shot before. But now when I went to put the nut back on the tie rod end, the track rod end, it just wouldn't go back on. So just this saga about the nut then that was damaged. So here it is. You'll be able to see it's just kind of shot on the side there. Wouldn't go back on the swivel pin. So I've had to come over to Ace Fixings here in Penrith today and got this one. So I'll be able to move on now, hopefully, get the wheel on. Next step. Whenever I tried to put the old nut on, it goes so far and then just gets stuck. So the new nut, which was, measured and checked at Ace Fixings to see if it was the right one, seemed to be promising at the start. It went so far, and then that's it. It gets stuck. It won't go any further. When you try to use the ratchet or whatever, the whole lot spins. So I tried just getting someone to hold this bit, the bottom of the pin, and you could get it on with a lot of foot width force, and I thought maybe that would, you know, find its new thread or something, took it off and then tried to put it down again, but no, it's still not going. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means that I have to replace the whole track rod end or what. I just don't know. This is a bit, let's see if you can see it here. It's a bit cracked here. The little rubber bushing or gaiter or whatever it is there. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to go and ring somebody, I guess. Okay, well I managed to get hold of my dad on the phone who, as I mentioned in one of the other videos, used to be a mechanic. So he told me that I needed to put a jack under the track rod end and hold it in situ, put enough pressure on it just to stop the pin from spinning, and that the nut on the top is a lock nut, so that it will get harder to turn as you get further down. So that all makes sense, and I do remember now seeing something in William Murfitt's video about holding, I think he used a lever bar to probably do the same thing, but I hadn't really understood why he was doing that, but I understand now. So I'll give it a try. I'm not sure if this is supposed to, it's turning one notch and then stopping, but whenever I put the wheel on, surely the wheel's not going to spin then, so I'm wondering if I've done something wrong, like with the drive shaft or something. Got a brand new torque wrench here, not even out of the box yet, and I have no idea how to use a torque wrench. So I'm going to have to work that out. You can see the settings here for the various bits that I need to tighten. Well, you can probably tell from my smile that worked. So all I have to do now, you can see I've got the wheel back on. Just need to drop it down now and tighten up that centre nut. Everything else is torqued up, hopefully to the right settings. I then was sitting having a cup of coffee, looking back at the list, the original list that my mechanic made of the different things that needed repaired on the car initially. And I looked at the bit about the wheel bearing. So what does that say? Yep, it says PSF, passenger side front. That there's the steering wheel. That's where the driver sits. That's the driver's side front wheel. I've just spent all this time replacing a wheel bearing that didn't need to be replaced. I've got a master's degree. How can I be so feckin' thick? You know, right. So basically what this means is that I've replaced the wrong wheel bearing. Yes, I've learnt a lot. Yes, I've no idea how long the wheel bearing's been in there. But no, it didn't need done at the minute. It won't go to waste in one sense. Managed to fix the grease nipple. It was broken as well, which I suppose is a good thing. Did I say I learned a lot? I didn't learn to read, evidently. So now I'm going to have to start on the other side. I suppose it's not a bad thing in one way, because at least I'll be able to have a look at the brake pads and check everything else. So now I'm just going to get this all put back together, and I'm going to have a look at the other side, see what I need, check the brake pads, see if they need to be ordered, order everything in one go, and then the car's due to go into the mechanic on Tuesday to get the radius arm done, and then when I get the car back I'll put the other wheel bearing in, do the whole thing again. So I'm disappointed, because I really thought that after doing this wheel bearing that would be the car kind of on the road, so that I could get out and use it for a while, get to know it, see what else needed done. But being thick, that's not now the case. So, oh well, I don't know what to say. Like, what lesson do you take away from that apart from don't be thick? Oh dear goodness. Right, anyway, I think I've said enough about that. So there it is, back on all fours. Everything torqued up, ready to give it a jump start and take it to the mechanic to get the rear radius arm done. I've learned a lot of lessons, but I finally got there. Yay! So far, there it is, one bearing outer race is in. Not much light here, can't really see, but